was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down the X system with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area.
If you were watching the show yesterday, surely you observed we had problems. When don't we? But yesterday's were very particular. X and a number of sites, I think including Rumble, were subject to a massive cyber attack. Here's our very own Chris Pavlovsky, CEO of Rumble, comment on that, confirming that the Rumble engineering team is also fighting a large DDoS attack that has intermittently affected our services today. And here is Elon Musk talking about it. I think he was on Fox News. I think I saw this.
Okay, this just in. John, if you're having issues on X today, perhaps you are at home. I certainly have been today. Apparently there is an outage, and Elon Musk now says that a foreign actor might be responsible for this. This is what he wrote. He says still is a massive cyber attack against X. We get attacked every day, but this was done with a lot of resources, either a large coordinated group and or a country is involved. So some serious allegations there from the owner of X. Musk will be on Fox Business later on this afternoon with Larry Kudlow, hopefully with an update on what is happening there.
Well, that explains why my Twitter or my X wasn't working very well earlier today.
So there it is. That guy's sort of seeing the news that he's on as a kind of way of informing himself, which, by the way, is actually sort of how I'm doing it. I'm learning it. Well, that's why my X wasn't working today. Oh, that's what's happening here. So, this is Elon Musk talking about it, is it?
There was a cyber attack on X today, which shut it down and may have been foreign sourced.
It is funny, isn't it? Because you can tell where the line is between old media and new media just in these kind of discourses. The old media has to comment on stuff that happens on new media, but you can hear in their sort of tone and rhetoric what side of the line they're on. Okay, so X went down today, did it? Yes, it's a cyber attack. We don't know who. It could be an entire nation, or certainly large groups in conjunction with a nation. Like Elon Musk speaks the new language, doesn't he?
Yeah,
it's a big story. You want to give us a moment on that?
Well, we're not sure exactly what happened, but there was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down the X system with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area.
Oh, Ukraine, you say? Interesting. That keeps coming up. Let's have a look at possible reasons. The math is simple, says Clandestine on X. Elon is openly suggesting the US leave NATO and end the war in Ukraine. Zelensky and his NATO handlers stand to lose the most if the US leave NATO and the war ends. Who benefits most from shutting down free speech on X? Zelensky and his NATO handlers. This is one of those things where people will reveal what their preferred synecdoche for evil is by who they nominate as the culprits when it comes to the DDoS attack. I remember that when I was attacked, some people said, this is going to be the pharmaceutical industry. Some people said military industrial complex. Some people said British media. Some people said British government. So you learn about it. It's a bit like, you know how St. Paul famously has a thorn that he refers to in his letters quite frequently. I've prayed for it to be removed, he says, this thorn, but it's not been removed. And people speculate as to what that thorn might be. There are 36, I think, theories, like in academia and theological circles, as to what the thorn might be. But I've noticed just conversationally and anecdotally that people reveal what their thorn is by what they think Paul's thorn is. Like people go, I think Paul's thorn was that he had a bad temper. Well, I think what Paul's thorn was that he was gay. Well, I think what Paul's thorn was is that he was a bit of a ladies' man. You know, like it's people will let you know through, because of course you are a participant in the phenomena of consciousness or Holy Spirit, call it what you will. And your inflections and biases are the reflection of your own trauma and your conditioning, or how indeed the devil or whatever organized intelligence, dark force is behind reality, pulling it towards the malign. I came so close to saying nefarious then. I can't tell you kids. The malfeasant. There's a good synonym. It shows you what people's biases are. Let's see what Mike Ben said. I mean, like often I would rely on, like we say in 12-step circles, if what I tell you contradicts what your sponsor is telling you, do what your sponsor says. And that's good, isn't it? Because then you know that you're not sort of pridefully leaning into your beliefs. Well, I can say, if what I tell you contradicts what Mike Benz is telling you, go with what Mike Benz says. Let's see what he says. So, our CIA-trained cyber hackers in Ukraine are training their sights on the US. Ukraine really is the Eastern European Mujahideen Redux. Whoa. I mean, I got into a bit of bother with Mujahideen Redux. Can we look up the word Redux? I mean, I guess what he's saying is that the Mujahideen was a CIA-sponsored organization in Afghanistan that ultimately begat Osama bin Laden and the problems of first Al-Qaeda and ultimately ISIS. Isaac tells me that Redux means rehash or revisitation, reiteration, simulacrum, or repetition. So what we have, according to Mike Benz, is American interests and CIA cutouts. I've been acting in Ukraine for a while and are behind this. All right, let's have a look at what CNN said.
About when we're talking about
This is our man. We'll keep trying to get this guy. He's never going to come on, is he? Is he?
the cuts that Doge is bringing about. How are they feeling about it?
Yeah, this to me was one of the more shocking figures that I saw. Made me go, wait a minute, hold on one second. Whoa.
Wait a minute, hold on now. Come on, it's a number, but it's not the number I expected. 6, 9? What? The 6 is licking the 9's butt? Wait, people do that. Let's call it a 69. Wait!
Americans on Trump and Joe's efforts. Musk and Doge should influence government spending and operations. Look at this. 54%. The majority say that he and they should. How about approve of Trump trying to cut staff at government agencies? Again, you get a majority here. 51%. So yeah, Elon Musk might not be that popular, but these cuts and the idea of spending cuts, at least within the federal government and cutting at government agencies, that actually has majority support.
I wonder what it's like in his mind. Right, okay, I'm having my Cheerios now. Wait a minute, I've left those in the bowl too long. They've gone soggy. Coffee machine's ready now. Let's go. Oh no, the dog soiled the carpet again. I told my wife if we got that dog that my daughter wasn't old enough to look after it. Statistics show that 8-year-olds will not look after a dachshund, and yet we went ahead and did it, believing that the child would ultimately take responsibility for it. Oh no, actually, that's wasn't him. That was me that made those decisions. Health insurance is confusing, expensive, and frustrating, and claim denials are becoming more and more common. In fact, 1 in 5 Obamacare claims were denied last year. That's unacceptable. The headache of health insurance is exactly why Crowd Health was created. It's not health insurance, it's a better way to pay for healthcare through crowdfunding. For $175 for an individual payment or $575 for a family of 4 or more, you'll get access to a community of people who are willing to help out in the event of an emergency. You get access to telemedicine visits, discounted prescriptions, and so much more without doctors' networks getting in the way. Get started today for just $99 per month for your first 3 months by using the code BRAND at joincrowdhealth.com. Mandatory disclaimer, Crowd Health is not insurance. Learn more about joincrowdhealth.com. So use the code BRAND for a novel way to solve your medical concerns. Why should you be bankrupted through healthcare needs like so many are? And why should you be left short when you actually need to pay for a medical matter? Investigate for yourself Crowd Health, a brilliant and novel way of navigating the labyrinth of American healthcare insurance.
I was truly surprised by this, Kate, but the numbers are the numbers.
Well, there is a view that cuts across Democrat and Republican of people thinking that Washington is too big, bloated federal government, waste, fraud, and abuse. I mean, those are drain the swamp is what people run on over and over again. How do they feel? What do they think they're actually cutting?
Yeah, what do they think they're actually cutting? Democrats want to argue that the type of spending that Musk is cutting is mainly necessary programs, but that comes in at just 36%. The wasteful spending actually wins the plurality here.
That's for children. Do you want to cut wasteful spending? I do want to cut wasteful spending. Do you want to cut necessary programs? Well, I don't think I want to cut necessary. Necessary. What does the word necessary mean? That means without it you can't sustain or survive. Yeah, no, don't do that. So obvious. That's so obvious as to be surely phatic.
At 42%, according to a recent Washington Post Ipsos poll. And I think that is the reason why you see that when it comes to Dusk and Moj.
Do you want a mousetrap to kill mice? I do. Do you want a mousetrap slammed shut on your testicles? No. Why would it?
Musk and Doge, you see, in fact, the majority believe he should have some influence because they believe, the plurality believe, that he is cutting wasteful spending, not necessary programs that Democrats are arguing.
Get back off there. Let's see what Trump says. Trump says that he is going to be supporting Elon Musk by buying Tesla stock to Republicans, conservatives, and all great Americans. Elon Musk is putting on the line in order to help our nation. He's doing a fantastic job, but the radical left lunatics, as they often do, are trying to illegally and inclusion, boycott Tesla, one of the world's great automakers and Elon's baby, in order to attack and do harm to Elon and everything he stands for. They tried to do it to me in the 2024 presidential ballot box. How did that work out? In any event, I'm going to buy a brand new Tesla tomorrow morning as a show of confidence. Oh my God. As a show of confidence and support for Elon Musk, a truly great American. Why should he be punished for putting his tremendous skills to work in order to help make America great again? So what do the cyber attacks tell us? Well, it tells us that there are competing powers across the world that go beyond what we understand or certainly can discern or read. All power has to make itself seem natural in order for it not to be confronted. If you believe you're not even dealing with power, you're just dealing with, inverted commas, the way things are, then you're much less likely to oppose it. The DDoS attacks show you that warfare takes place in a different way now. I believe this, rather profound if you ask me, principle, that with the advent of agriculture, mankind achieved control over nature, dominion over the beasts and plants, as the Lord suggested we might have in the garden. With the age of industry, mankind achieved mastery over matter, mass production. End of scarcity was what was afforded and granted by the Industrial Revolution, even though social hierarchies meant that the scarcity remained because elites benefited disproportionately as a result of those advances. The technological revolution, of course, provides advance in each of those territories, but the significant and novel component is that attention becomes the commodity that can be controlled. And you might argue that attention is a synonym for consciousness, and consciousness is the prima materia for reality itself. If you can control attention and consciousness, you are controlling reality, unless, and it's a big unless, there is an ulterior, secondary, yet more powerful reality from which all matter, time, and space emerge. That's why if you don't believe in God, you are at a loss here amidst the molecules. If you believe in God, then you will know that there are forces that create this reality, and if you align yourself to them through discipline and sacrifice, you might become their conduit and vessel. But that's just what I think, and you won't get a take on DDoS like that everywhere you go. Maybe DDoS reveals your biases in prejudices, DDoS, in the same way that you might attribute Paul's thorn unconsciously to your own injury. That's just what I think, though. Let me know what you think in the comments and the chat. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.